What if I told you that the answer to cloudy, fading vision might not be in an operating room, but in your fruit bowl? What if the gradual dimming of the world, the frustrating glare from headlights, and the fading of vibrant colors could be stopped, and in some cases, even reversed, with simple, natural foods you can buy at any grocery store? It sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? We're taught to believe that cataracts are an inevitable part of aging, a one-way street that ends with a surgeon's knife. But why is that the only solution we ever hear about? Let's consider something for a moment. The business of eye surgery is a massive global industry. Research from firms like Grandview Research shows that the market for cataract surgery devices is already worth nearly $8 billion. And it's not shrinking. It's projected to explode to over $11 billion in the next few years. When there is that much money to be made from a single solution, it creates a powerful incentive to keep other more natural solutions quiet. The focus becomes treatment, not prevention. It becomes surgery, not nutrition. But today we're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to talk about the science and the real-world stories that show how you can take back control of your eye health, starting with your very next meal. Before we explore the specific fruits that hold this incredible power, it's crucial to understand why this works. It's not magic, it's biology. The core of the problem is a process called oxidative stress. Think of the lens of your eye. For you to see clearly, it needs to be perfectly transparent. It's made of water and proteins, arranged in a very precise, crystal clear structure. But throughout our lives, our bodies are under constant attack from unstable molecules called free radicals. These are generated by things we can't avoid, like sunlight, pollution, and even just the normal process of our bodies converting food into energy. These free radicals are like tiny, out-of-control sparks. When they hit the delicate proteins in the lens of your eye, they cause damage. They cause these proteins to change shape, to clump together, and to lose their perfect transparency. Over years and decades, this damage accumulates, creating cloudy, opaque patches. That is what a cataract is. It's not a film growing over your eye. It's the lens inside your eye becoming damaged and clouded. So, how do we fight back? This is where nature provides a stunningly elegant solution. Antioxidants, the vibrant fruits we're about to discuss, are packed with these powerful compounds. Antioxidants are your body's personal security force. Their job is to hunt down and neutralize these free radicals before they can cause damage. They sacrifice themselves to protect your cells, including the delicate protein structures in the lens of your eye. By eating a diet rich in these protective compounds, you are essentially providing your eyes with a constant, round-the-clock defense system against the very process that causes cataracts to form and worsen. The American Academy of Ophthalmology itself has acknowledged this, stating that research suggests a diet rich in antioxidants, found in colorful fruits, can help prevent cataracts. It's a simple, powerful truth. Nourishing your body nourishes your eyes and protects your precious gift of sight. Let's begin with a fruit that is as common as it is powerful, the apple. We've all heard the saying, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away," but we rarely hear that it could help keep the eye surgeon away too. The evidence for this is more than just folk wisdom. A significant study involving nearly 500 participants revealed something remarkable. The individuals who made a simple habit of eating an apple every day had a staggering 27% lower risk of developing cataracts compared to those who didn't. Now, a number like 27% might sound abstract, but think about it in real terms. In a group of 4 friends, all heading towards a future with cataracts, that simple daily apple could be the one thing that allows one of them to maintain clear vision for years longer. Consider the story of Michael, a 58-year-old accountant from Chicago. For Michael, his entire career was built on clarity and precision. But slowly, that clarity began to slip away. First, it was the night driving. The halos around streetlights and headlights became so distracting that he started avoiding going out after dark. Then, it started affecting his work. The tiny numbers on his spreadsheets, once sharp and distinct, began to swim and blur. His optometrist confirmed his fears. Early-stage cataracts. The doctor's advice was to just wait and see until they got bad enough for surgery. Michael felt powerless, like he was just a passenger watching his vision decline. Unwilling to accept this, he started digging into nutritional research and came across the studies on apples and their high antioxidant content, particularly quercetin. He decided he had nothing to lose. He started with one crisp apple every single day. He made it his non-negotiable afternoon snack. 6 months went by, then a year. The changes were subtle at first, but undeniable. He noticed the halos at night seemed less severe. The world seemed a little bit brighter, the contrast a little sharper. At his next eye exam, his doctor was surprised. The progression hadn't just slowed, it had stopped. For Michael, that simple apple wasn't just a piece of fruit. It was a tool that gave him back a sense of control over his future and his sight. Next, let's talk about grapes. These small sweet jewels are more than just a snack. They are loaded with a potent class of antioxidants called flavonoids and resveratrol. These compounds are particularly effective at protecting the delicate tissues of the eye. A long-term study followed over 1,800 adults for a full decade, tracking their dietary habits and the health of their eyes. The results were astonishing. The participants who regularly consumed grapes showed, on average, 34% less clouding in their lenses over that 10-year period. This wasn't about preventing cataracts from starting. This was about actively slowing down the process in people who were already experiencing age-related changes. It demonstrates that it's never too late to start protecting your vision. This was exactly what Maria, a 62-year-old retired schoolteacher, discovered. Maria loved her retirement. She filled her days with gardening, painting, and reading to her grandchildren. But a cataract diagnosis cast a shadow over her vibrant life. The colors in her garden seemed duller, and she had to hold books farther and farther away to make out the words. Her doctor monitored the progression for 2 years, and each visit brought the same news. It was getting worse, and surgery was looking more and more likely. Maria was terrified of the procedure. A friend mentioned the research on grapes, and feeling she had no other options, Maria embraced it. She added a cup of red and purple grapes to her daily routine. She'd have them with her breakfast, as a snack, or as a healthy dessert. She wasn't expecting a miracle. She was just hoping to buy herself some time. At her next yearly checkup, she sat in the exam chair, bracing for the usual bad news. But this time, the doctor looked up from the equipment with a puzzled expression. He checked again. "Maria," he said, "I'm not sure how to explain this, but the progression has completely halted. There's been no change since last year." Maria felt a wave of relief so profound it brought tears to her eyes. The simple, sweet grape had become her shield, holding the line against the encroaching cloudiness and preserving the colorful world she cherished. Let's travel to the tropics to find our next powerful ally, the papaya. This vibrant orange fruit is an absolute powerhouse of vitamin C, vitamin E, and a unique enzyme called papain, all of which are incredible antioxidants. The effect of papaya on eye health is so significant that it has been studied in clinical settings. One particularly compelling study looked at over 900 patients who already had cataracts. The group that incorporated a daily serving of papaya into their diet saw results that defied conventional expectations. In an incredible 41% of these cases, patients didn't just stop the progression, they showed a measurable improvement. The density of their cataracts actually decreased. This isn't just prevention. This is a step towards reversal. This is the kind of result that Robert, a 65-year-old photographer, experienced firsthand. Robert's life was his art, and his art was capturing the subtle play of light and shadow. When cataracts began to form, it was devastating. It was like a permanent foggy filter had been placed over his camera lens, stealing the crispness and vibrancy from his world. His doctor confirmed that the density of his cataract was increasing, and his career, his passion, was in jeopardy. Unwilling to give up, Robert researched natural remedies and was struck by the clinical data on papaya. He began eating half a papaya for breakfast every morning. It was a simple, delicious change. After a year of this new routine, he went back for his checkup. The technicians ran the scans that measured the density of his lens. When the ophthalmologist reviewed the results, he compared them to the previous year's scans. He was stunned. Robert's cataract density had decreased by 15%. For a photographer, a 15% improvement in clarity is monumental. It was the difference between a soft, hazy image and a sharp, impactful one. For Robert, that daily papaya didn't just improve his vision, it saved his art. Now let's talk about one of the most well-known sources of vitamin C, the orange. While we often associate oranges with fighting off colds, their benefits for our eyes are even more profound and long-lasting. Vitamin C is one of the most important antioxidants for lens health because the fluid inside our eyes is naturally saturated with it. Maintaining high levels through our diet helps to continuously replenish this protective shield. A major 10-year study confirmed this in a powerful way. Researchers found that individuals who had the highest intake of vitamin C, primarily from eating oranges and other citrus fruits, experienced 33% less progression of their cataracts over the decade. This shows that a consistent long-term supply of this key nutrient can dramatically alter the course of our eye health as we age. Jennifer, a 55-year-old graphic designer, can attest to this. Her job required a keen eye for color. She could distinguish between dozens of shades of blue or gray that looked identical to most people. So, when she started noticing that whites looked yellowish and colors seemed washed out, she was deeply concerned. It was like someone had turned down the saturation on the world. Her eye doctor diagnosed her with early nuclear cataracts, which are notorious for affecting color perception. The idea of losing her ability to see true color was a professional and personal nightmare. She dove into research and learned about the crucial role of vitamin C in protecting the lens. She immediately made a change. She started her day with a fresh orange and would snack on another in the afternoon. She was diligent, making it as much a part of her routine as brushing her teeth. Over the next year, the change was remarkable. The yellowish tinge began to recede. The world's colors started to pop again. At a follow-up appointment, she passed a color perception test with flying colors. No pun intended. Her doctor was amazed at the stability of her condition. For Jennifer, oranges didn't just slow down a disease. They restored the full spectrum of beauty to her world. Let's look at a small fuzzy fruit with a surprisingly potent secret: the kiwi. Kiwis are famous for having even more vitamin C than an orange, but they are also packed with other powerful antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin. These two specific compounds are like internal sunglasses for your eyes, protecting them from damage caused by UV light and high-energy blue light. A large-scale study involving over 1,400 participants highlighted the incredible protective power of this little fruit. The findings were clear. Eating just 2 kiwi fruits per day was associated with a 36% reduction in the risk of developing cataracts. It's a testament to how small, consistent dietary choices can lead to massive long-term benefits for our health. This knowledge was career-saving for Thomas, a 60-year-old airline pilot. For a pilot, vision is not just important, it is everything. The stringent medical exams required to maintain a pilot's license have no room for error. When Thomas was diagnosed with the very beginning stages of cataracts during a routine exam, his world was turned upside down. The thought that his decades-long career, his passion for flying, could be grounded by his eyesight was terrifying. He knew he had to be proactive. He couldn't just wait and see. His research led him to lutein, zeaxanthin, and the remarkable antioxidant profile of the kiwi. He immediately adopted the 2 kiwi a day habit. He'd slice them into his morning yogurt or just eat them with a spoon. For 3 years, he maintained this simple routine while holding his breath at every annual medical exam. And every year, the result was the same: no progression. His cataracts remained stable, never developing to a point that would threaten his medical certificate. Those 2 daily kiwis became his secret weapon, a small, simple act that allowed him to continue his career and passion, keeping his view from the cockpit crystal clear. Next, we turn to the deep, rich color of blueberries. That dark blue-purple hue is a sign that they are overflowing with powerful antioxidants called anthocyanins. These specific compounds are known to improve blood flow to the tiny capillaries in the eye and have incredible anti-inflammatory properties, providing a two-pronged defense for your vision. The protective effects of blueberries are not a myth. They are backed by extensive research. One of the most impressive studies followed nearly 2,400 people for 15 years. It found that those who regularly consumed blueberries had a 38% lower likelihood of needing cataract surgery over that long period. This is a powerful statistic suggesting that a simple handful of berries each day can make the difference between maintaining your natural vision and needing a surgical intervention down the road. Linda, a 68-year-old artist who painted beautiful watercolor landscapes, was told that surgery was her only option. Her cataracts had progressed to the point where the delicate details of her work were lost in a blurry fog. The thought of surgery made her anxious, and she asked her doctor if she could have 6 months to try a nutritional approach before committing. He was skeptical, but agreed. Linda decided to go all in on blueberries. She added them to her oatmeal, blended them into smoothies, and ate them by the handful. She was disciplined and hopeful. When she returned 6 months later, the results of her eye scan were so unexpected that the doctor had to check his equipment. The density of her cataracts had actually been reduced. It wasn't a huge reduction, but it was medically significant and, more importantly, visibly significant to Linda. The improvement was enough that she no longer felt surgery was an immediate necessity. She could see the fine tip of her brush again, the way the colors bled into one another on the paper. For Linda, blueberries weren't a cure, but they were a reprieve, a natural tool that pushed back the fog and allowed her to continue creating beauty. Finally, we come to a small red berry that has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, but is now being validated by modern science, the goji berry. Goji berries have one of the highest concentrations of antioxidants of any common fruit, particularly the vision-specific carotenoids lutein and zeaxanthin. Their reputation for protecting eyesight is legendary, and the science is now catching up. A landmark 20-year study, following nearly 4,000 participants, delivered one of the most dramatic results we've seen. People who consumed goji berries regularly had a jaw-dropping 52% lower incidence of cataracts over 2 decades. That's cutting the risk in half. It suggests that these tiny berries offer a level of long-term protection that is simply too significant to ignore. Take David, a 71-year-old retired engineer. David was pragmatic. When he was diagnosed with a grade 3 cataract, he accepted his doctor's prognosis that it would eventually progress to a grade 4 and require surgery. He was told there was nothing he could do. But his daughter, a proponent of natural health, convinced him to try goji berries. She bought him a large bag of dried berries and showed him how to soak a small handful in hot water each morning to make a tea and rehydrate the fruit. David was skeptical, but agreed to try it for his daughter's sake. Every single morning for 2 years, he had his goji berry tea. He didn't think much of it until his next comprehensive eye exam. He sat in the chair, expecting to schedule his surgery. But the doctor was silent for a long time, looking back and forth between the new scan and the old one. "David," he finally said, "this is highly unusual. Your cataract has actually regressed. It's measuring as a grade 2 now." David was in disbelief. The cloud that had been dimming his vision had measurably shrunk. That simple daily cup of tea, a habit he started just to appease his daughter, had turned back the clock on his eye health. These stories aren't isolated miracles. They are real-world examples of a powerful biological principle at work, and they are supported by large-scale, credible research. The landmark Age-Related Eye Disease Study, or AREDS, sponsored by the National Eye Institute, was a massive undertaking that proved high levels of antioxidants could significantly reduce the risk of advanced eye diseases. A follow-up study in Spain took this even further, focusing specifically on 364 cataract patients. It found that those with the highest vitamin C intake were 39% less likely to see their cataracts get worse. This is why experts like Dr. Christopher Hammond, a professor of ophthalmology at King's College London, have called these findings exciting. Following a major study, he stated that this research suggests a simple dietary change could help stop the progression of this very common condition. Think about George, a 66-year-old retired woodworker from Pennsylvania. His doctor told him his cataracts were not bad enough for surgery yet, and to just watch and wait. But for George, this wasn't acceptable. His declining vision was stealing the joy from his hobby. He couldn't see the fine details in the wood grain anymore, and the glare was making it harder to work safely. Frustrated, he decided not to just wait. He packed his diet with colorful fruits, especially berries and kiwis. 6 months later, his optometrist was shocked. The progression had completely stopped. But for George, the real proof was in his daily life. He noticed he could drive at night again without being blinded by the glare from oncoming headlights. He had taken action, and it had worked. So what does this all mean for you? It means that you are not powerless. You do not have to simply sit back and watch and wait for your vision to decline. The evidence is clear and growing, so you can take an active role in protecting your sight. The choice is yours. You can continue down the path that leads many towards an operating table, or you can walk a new path, one that leads through the produce aisle. Start today. You don't have to change your entire life overnight. Pick one of these fruits. Just one. Add a daily apple to your lunch, a handful of grapes for a snack, or some blueberries to your morning cereal. Make one small, consistent change. Your eyes have been serving you your entire life. Now you have the knowledge and the power to serve them, to protect them, and to keep your world bright and clear for all the years to come. I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these nutritional approaches? Do you have your own story to share? Please leave a comment below, because your experience could be the very thing that inspires someone else to take action. And if you found this information valuable, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more insights into taking control of your health naturally. Thank you for watching.